There we go. Right. It's in. It's not been nipped together with these bolts, but let's give it a little go. Sure, have a look. That is sweet. Look at that. So follow me on a journey where I am prototyping a stairgate for a customer. It's not the typical folding gate, okay? It's not the opening gate, it's not bifold. It is a gate that will kind of like go into a diamond shape. I can't even explain. I'm going to show you with the picture right here. I'm going to go over all the ideas and try and make a little prototype gate right now with you. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it together. So I had those two pictures from the customer. They weren't clear, so I had to do all the homework myself, how I'm going to build this thing. I decided on making every component round. So where they meet up against each other, none of the square bits are going to stick up as you turn it into a diamond-shaped gate. So if they're all the same radius curve on each component, so the ends of the top and the bottom and the ends of the uprights, then they should all look seamless and match up to each other no matter what angle the gate is at. So the gate is about 704 wide and 575, that's the actual gate size. But I've taken into account a 45mm post that's going to be hinging off just some standard butt hinges, and then we're going to have a little hook here, so when it's in the closed position being used, then it just gets hooked to the wall, as simple as that. I'm probably going to use ply, 18mm ply to actually build the real gate, you know, after I prototype. But for now, we're going to be using a piece of MDF to see how it all works because it's cheap and readily available in my workshop. So we've got 60mm components, 69mm spaces. Each one's got an 8mm hole inside on every component for a connector to do its thing. So I'm using these connectors from Hefeli's. It tells me that I can use materials up to a total of 32 to 42mm. I've got two pieces of 18mm and I've got a 1mm spacer, so that's 37mm. So that is perfectly the right size for these connectors to work. And this is what they look like, okay? Two components, like so. One goes into the other. You've got male and female. They will screw together like so. And that is it. I'm probably going to put a little bit of Loctite in there. The lowest strength Loctite. So when I nip it up to the right torque, for example, I don't want to over tighten these. Otherwise the gate won't move. The Loctite will hold the bolt into the correct position. It's 8mm in diameter here, so I've gone for 9mm in total with my spacers, and I believe I've gone for 8mm with the holes in the actual stairgates to give it a little bit more resistance as it's opening and closing. So that's what they look like, and this is what effectively is holding the entire gate together. 12 of these. There are 12 joints, and we're going to have 12 1mm spacers to stop the gate rubbing together. Let's go and have a look at the spacers that I'm making at the moment. I'm using the Snapmaker printer to make the spacers. They are 40mm in diameter. They've got a 9mm hole, and they are 1mm thick. So when I join the two components, the top and the bottom, to all the uprights, they're not rubbing against each other. By the way, do you like the portable stand I made for the Snapmaker? I've got plans for this. I built this to make it portable, so I can take away the bottom drawer, put my portable battery in and wheel it around, have a portable printer. I can move it wherever I like. It's on caster wheels, and we can just wheel it wherever we choose to, really easily. Plans are here, so check them out. All done, and this is what they look like. Should do the job perfectly. Right guys, so don't be put off that I'm using the CNC. I'm using the Smart Bench today. It's the Trend Yeti CNC. It's a portable CNC, goes up to full sheet capacity, 8x4. But you can always make these, make one and then template it and then use a flush cutter to just make more and more and more from a template. So it's absolutely fine. Don't be worried that you're thinking, well, I can't do this because I haven't got a CNC. But also, CNCs are fantastic. Maybe it might inspire you to get CNC yourself. I'm using the VCarve Pro software, Vectric, and it's just made it so easy to draw these out, put some toolpaths to these components, and effectively be able to start making these instantly. All components are going to be cut out. They're held on with tabs, just 2 tabs on each piece. Okay, we've got our top and our bottom. They're a little bit longer than the uprights, and these are all the uprights. They're basically two sizes, that's all it takes. And then we've simply got an 8mm hole in the center of this circle, so it's a 60mm radius all the way around, and there's an 8mm hole dead in the center of that 60mm round radius there. Okay, so they all match up. So this is how they're going to look. We're going to be using MDF to start with. We're going to load up the CNC, get it started. We're going to be using a 6mm bit for this. So for this job, we're only going to need 3 materials as such. We're going to need a sheet material. MDF is just for prototyping today. Ply is probably best. And then we're going to have some spacers for all the joints, and then we've got our connectors. So very simple, barring the post, obviously, and the hinges that we're going to need to hang it. This is all going to need to make the gates. So starting with the holes. Always want to start with the holes first before you do any cutouts, or do any machining first before you cut the shapes out. Let me just test it. It's the first time I'm testing. Fingers crossed. This is the widest part. See if it fits in. Actually, let's see if it moves first before we go and plonk that in. There we go. Quickly test it. Hey, look at that. Nice bit of resistance. That is absolutely perfect. So now we're on the shape. So I'm just doing it in 8 or 9 passes each. I'm not in a rush. About 35 minutes to do this, although I was going super slow and so many passes, but yeah, no rush. Let's cut the tabs off. I managed to get away with 2 per piece. So we got these little tabs left over. I'm just going to quickly put them over the belt sander to get rid of them. Tabs all sanded off. All I need to do really is just put a little round over on all the sharp corners. And for that, I'm going to be using the 1.6mm round over cutter from Trends. It's a tiny little thing, but it's amazing. Do not underestimate the power of a 1.6mm radius cutter. Isn't it, Sean? Yeah. See, Sean knows the score. Going to round all these pieces over, and then it's time to assemble. So before I start, I've got these lock blocks as well, all from Trend, obviously. They are great. They are silicone padded, so they don't move. So you can put any shape pieces you like on. I could literally just plonk them on here and it doesn't move. So yeah, it's a great little system. And I'm just going to go around with the 1.6 cutter. And it just turns an ugly, sharp edged piece into a nicely rounded over piece. 9 more pieces to go. Good to go now. So effectively, you've got a top and a bottom, the 2 long pieces, and all the other short pieces are the uprights. And they're just simply going to go, oh my God, I didn't do all the holes on there. Fuck it. I need to cut right there. Well, I was going to leave this bit out because I made a bit of an error. Stupidly, I forgot to do the holes on the top and the bottom for all the uprights to go into. What an absolute donut. So maybe I can get this lined up somehow with the CNC and make a CNC toolpath and then get those holes done. I think I'm going to have to do that rather than freestyle it, unless I can find myself an 8mm drill bit and just do it freestyle. Stupid. Got myself an 8mm, done a test cut, test hole, and it goes in as the other holes. I think I'm just going to have to do that. Right, so I've rectified my mistake. I also made too many uprights. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, I'm ready to go. And all I need to do is just get my spacers and plonk them where I need them. So they're going to be over the holes like so. So I'm using the longer part. You've got two parts. The smaller part goes into the longer part. This is the female, I guess. That's the male. So I'm just going to put that into all the uprights, and they'll just push through like so. You get a little bit of resistance there because at the top you've got these little ridges. So it just takes a little tap just to get them like so. I'm going to do that on all of them. This is just trial and error. So anyway, we've got them poking through like that now. Hopefully I could just line up hole to hole like so. And we get that little bit of resistance there to hold them together. There we go. Right. It's in. It's not been nipped together with these bolts, but let's give it a little go. Sure, have a look. That is sweet. Look at that. I'm going to flip it over now, guys. I'm going to then put these caps on, consolidate everything. Remember, I did say that I'm going to be using Loctite. You get different grade Loctite. So Loctite is a little bit of liquid that you put on the threads. As you nip up your bolts with the male and the female, it will set and it will just hold that with a little bit of resistance. So you don't need to torque these up to keep them tight. There we go. That is it. I think we're good to go on seeing what this is really like, seeing how it slides open and closed. Oh, nice bit of resistance. You know what? That has got no flex in it. Flex, wow, that is super tough. Really happy with that. So when it's being moved, okay, this is where the Loctite comes in on the threads, because as you're moving it, it's going to come undone. The resistance of moving it backwards and forwards is only going to unscrew the heads. So putting the Loctite on is going to stop that happening. These are going to be sprayed, not this particular gate, but when I finish, it's all going to be sprayed. That's the reason I used white on the packers on the inside, but although you can't actually see them, so they can be any colour or any material that you want. I'm using plastic so it doesn't wear out. And when I come to bolt up the original, or the actual gate that I'm going to make, it's going to have a painted finish on. So yeah, it's all trial and error how that will work. So I'll quickly run over how I'm expecting to hang this, okay? And then I guess that'll be the end of the video. Right, so let me try and rig up how this gate is actually going to work and how it's going to be hung to the wall. Let's move this out of the way and show you what I'm envisaging using to hang the gate to the wall. So I've just taken into account a softwood post, 45mm thick by 75mm wide, and that will simply get fixed to the wall. So you've got the angle coming down and up like so, and then you've got your stairs here. All right, so that'll get fixed to the wall like so. So I'm going to be using butt hinges. Butt hinges are nice and simple, and there's a couple of ways which I could use the butt hinges, okay? So I could fit the butt hinges to the face of my gate, like so. The leaves of the butt hinge could go on the face and screw directly into the face, or they could be fixed to the edge. Okay, when they fix to the edge, then you definitely cannot use MDF. You'd have to use ply. But the upsides of MDF is that it's lightweight, it's cheap, it's easy to machine, it doesn't blunt your cutters like ply will. And when you come to finish your gate, for example, spraying it, finishing with ply, you're going to see the grain, you're going to see the stripes, everything. It's going to be a lot more finishing involved when it comes to sanding, spraying, filling, all that sort of stuff. So MDF is really ideal for this. And as you saw before, it's got really decent stiffness to this, so I'm not worried about that whatsoever. I'm using 18mm thickness components, by the way. So the downside with butt hinges is that if you do have them on the face and you are using MDF, then you'd have to be fixing those leaves of the butt hinge to the face. But you can get nice hinges which have a nice round. You can get nice finishes, chrome, brushed steel, that sort of stuff, black, white, whatever you like, and make a detail of it. So yeah, so the hinge can be fixed onto this place, onto the front of the gate, one leaf here and one leaf here, and the other part of the hinge, the other leaf on the inside of the post. Sort of like so. So you'd have a leaf here, and then you'd have a leaf here of the hinge. And then that would simply hinge out like so, or fold out like so. Really easy. As it's going up, obviously, the whole point of this video is making a stairgate that folds up and over the staircase. Is as it goes across, you're going to have to lift the gate up, put it at its angle, like so. If it's got a little bit less resistance, because I've nipped it up quite tight, then it's going to want to drop down on its own accord. And that is what I'm kind of planning. So it's going to want to just drop down, have a tiny bit of resistance, but want to just still drop down. And then that will rest on the string of your staircase. So there is no patches needed on this side. It could just rest on the staircase. So that is the plan. No posts, no hooks, nothing on this side to hold the gate in position. But when it comes back down and you swing it out, it's going to want to fall down on its own weight. All I've done is I've planned to have a little hook here, hook that just hooks into the wall. You can have a post here, depends how far you want to go. But for things like if you're using it for as a dog gate, then I think it's going to be absolutely fine having a little hook. You've got 3 points of contact, one hinge, two hinges, and a hook. So that's going to give the gate decent rigidity when it's in position. So I think it's going to be decent for what it's used for. A dog gate, pet gate. If you are going to have it as a gate for your children, then maybe a post here. So that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I think personally, MDF would be the best idea. Fix your hinges to the front and to the post. Use some nice hinges. One hook on the side, and that is your gate done. So this is the closed position. Obviously, you're going to be going up and down the staircase, and then this is the open position. The gate resting on the side of the stairs, the actual string of the staircase. But there we go, guys. Very simple. You can make this yourself. If you don't have a CNC, remember, you could just make one of these, template it, then you can use a flush cutter. Trend sell the flush cutters, and you can just make them over and over and over. But CNCs are amazing. 35 minutes, and I have myself a stairgate. Simple piece of timber for the posts, some connectors, some MDF and some hinges, some spacers, and we got ourselves a gate in no time at all. Hope you enjoy, guys. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Have a great Friday. Take it easy. Ciao for now.